Hi, I'm Matt with Golden Rule Heating and Cooling, and today we're going to be going over your basic system overview. This is your furnace service switch. To turn it off, flip it down and that will turn off the power to the furnace directly. Most of the time it will be mounted on the unit itself. Today's is mounted on the wall, and you want to turn that off anytime you change your filter. Now that we've turned off the power to your system, let's go over a basic installation overview. This is your furnace. This is your evaporator coil, which is used during cooling mode. It has a drain that ties in with the furnace drain and will run to the floor drain together. This is the exhaust flue, which takes out the exhaust gases. This is the intake flue, which supplies the burner of the furnace with oxygen. And this is your gas shutoff, which turns off the gas to your furnace. Just a reminder to make sure your power is off. Now we're going to show you how to change your filter. Turning the power off is going to make sure that the blower is not on, which will pull the filter against the furnace, which will make it harder to change. So remove the drawer, take the filter out. If you have a 4-inch filter, like this one, they recommend changing that every 3 to 4 months. If you have a 1-inch filter, that's recommended to be changed every 30 days. There's an airflow on the filter itself. Make sure that it's pointing towards the furnace when you put it back in. Now we're going to go over the basic functions and maintenance of your humidifier if your system is equipped with one. Your humidifier will have a drain that goes to the floor drain just like your furnace and your evaporator coil. It's equipped with a water line, and this is going to be adjusted when it's installed, and you do not need to turn it off when you're not using the humidifier. It's equipped with a pad, which this is where the water will fill up from the tray, flow over the pad, and then the air will push through that and put the humidity in your home. To replace the pad once a year, you will remove the tray off the top, take the pad out, and then when you put the new one in, you'll slide it back in. Painted side goes towards the top. Replace the tray with the front facing out, and then line it up with the guides on each side. And then you'll replace the pad inside of the humidifier. A good time to get rid of the pad is after a heating season, when it's had water running over it. When you switch your thermostat to cooling, it's a good idea just to take the pad out and get rid of it, because it's got a lot of water and moisture on it, and leaving in there will cause a chance of having mold and mildew build up on it. Then when you go to switch your equipment back to heating, is a good time to put the pad back in and then put your damper position to open. This is going to be open whenever you're using your humidifier. In the summertime when you're not using it, this will be in the closed position. And some of the benefits of having a humidifier in your home, if you are walking across your floor and you are getting static shocks when you're touching things, that means the air is too dry, so the humidifier will take care of that. Also, if you're waking up and you're having dry, scratchy throats, that could also be a sign of dry air in your home. The furnace running all winter long is going to just be drying your air out constantly, so a humidifier, putting the humidifier in your home, will take care of those issues for you. Now we're going to go over the functions of your Ruud EcoNet thermostat. This is your home screen here. You'll have the inside temperature of 74 degrees. Down here you have the set temperature of 72 degrees. To change your temperature, you will just hit the plus to bring it up, or the minus to bring it back down. You'll notice when this is red, that means it's in heating mode. If it's blue, it means it's in cooling mode. And right above that, if it says heating to, the furnace will actually be on and running. Likewise, if it says cooling to, the air conditioner will be on and running. To change your modes, you'll just go down to the bottom right to your select mode page. You'll notice you'll have your auto, heat, cool, fan, and off selections. If you use auto, it'll automatically switch your heating and cooling on its own. It'll make you set the temperature a minimum of 2 degrees apart. Once it gets above the high temperature, the cooling will kick on. Once it gets below the low temperature, the cooling will kick on. Or you can just manually select heat or cool. If you go to the fan from your select mode page, this will only run the blower and circulate air throughout your home. It will not actually turn on your heating and cooling equipment. Or you can turn the system off altogether. Going back to the home screen, you can go to your menu. If you want to set up a schedule, you will just click on your schedule. You'll notice you have all the days of the week across the top, and 4 scheduled period times. And the easiest way to look at that is your first time will be waking up, second is going to work, third is coming home, and fourth is going to sleep. So you can touch those times and change them in 15-minute increments. And then over here on the right, you'll have all your heating temps for wintertime, cooling temps for summertime. And then once you get one day set up, if your schedule stays the same throughout the week, you can hit copy day, and then just select all the days that you want to copy, and then you can hit paste, and then you could do Saturday, Sunday completely separate from that. Once you get your schedule set up, you want to go back to your settings, go to basic, and where it says follow schedule, you would hit yes. At that time, it would start following the schedule. And then down below here where it says schedule override time is set for 2 hours, all that means is if you change the temperature from what the schedule says, it'll hold that temperature for 2 hours and then go back to the schedule. Now this is adjustable from 1 to 9 hours or the next scheduled period time. Going down from there, smooth arrival is enabled, and what that means is if you have your temperature set back at like 68 degrees for nighttime, but you want it to be at 72 when you wake up at 7 o'clock, the furnace will actually kick on before 7 o'clock to get it to that temperature at 7 o'clock. Also, there's a proximity sensing here, so anytime you walk past the thermostat, it's going to light up. If you don't like that function, you can turn it off, and it will just display the indoor temperature, and then you will tap the screen to wake it up. Going into your settings again, there's a vacation mode. So if you know you're going to be gone, you can do a start time and date and an end time and date, and you can turn that on whenever you like, and as soon as it hits that start time and date, it is going to override the schedule, and then when it ends on the end time and date, it is going to go back to whatever your schedule says. So it's an easier way to override the schedule without actually having to go in and turn it off. If you go to your away settings, so if you're just going to be gone for a day, you could set up your away settings so as you're walking out the door, you can actually push this home button over here, which will switch directly to your away settings and switch to that 65 degrees. As soon as you come home, you can hit that button and it'll go right back to whatever it was set at before. So that's another easy way to override the schedule if you're just going to be gone for a day. Going back into the settings, you have your fan option over here in the bottom right. A lot of times these will come factory set for auto, and what that means is that blower on the furnace is only going to run during heating or cooling. If you want to circulate air throughout the home, you could turn this to like a low or a medium low, and that's just going to circulate the air through your home all the time if it's set in continuous. You can also click on continuous, and you can adjust that from 40 to 30 to 20 to 10 minutes out of the hour if you don't want that blower running 24/7. This is typically a feature that people take advantage of if they have a 2-story home, especially in summertime, since that hot air will rise to the top. Circulating that air throughout the home can kind of balance out the temperature. It doesn't solve the problem completely because your temperature upstairs is never going to be exactly the same as the one at your thermostat, but it will help balance it out as best as it can. Your date and time will already be set. It has daylight savings time. There's also no batteries in this thermostat, so if this power is ever off on the thermostat, make sure the service switch on the furnace is turned on. That's a common thing that is forgotten when you change your filters. Some people will forget to turn it on, so if you notice your thermostat is off, just make sure that that service switch is turned on. Going over some other functions, we can go to the status. It'll tell you whatever your system is operating in. It'll tell you if it's in first stage, low stage, high stage, for your heating equipment. And also, if there's ever an issue with this communicating thermostat, it'll pop up a hazard sign up in this top right. If you click on the hazard sign, it'll just take you to a page and give you a brief description of what the issue is. When you call us out to take care of that problem, it is helpful for you to just tell us what that is, because that can save a trip on parts that might be needed to fix whatever it could be. So setting your humidity settings from your root EcoNet thermostat, you'll click the water droplet on the right. Notice it goes to dehumidification first. So to get to your humidification settings, you go to the bottom right, click on humidification. Your humidity set point is typically going to be factory set for your 35%. And that's going to be the same if you have a communicating thermostat like this, or if you have a humidistat mounted above the humidifier downstairs. With a communicating thermostat, it takes the outdoor temperature and it allows you to use the smart control option, which will automatically on its own cut back on the humidity levels as it gets colder outside. If you have a higher level of humidity set, as the temperature drops, you can notice condensation on your windows. At that time, you're going to want to turn it down if you don't have the smart control, 5%, and then give it 24 hours to make that adjustment before, just because it takes a while to get the humidity in or out of your home. If you do have the smart control and you still notice the humidity on your windows, you can up this to a medium or possibly even a high. That will take a more aggressive approach at cutting back on the humidity as it gets colder out. Thank you for choosing Golden Rule Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical as your preferred service provider for your home's needs. We look forward to keeping you and your home comfortable for years to come.